I was in New York Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. Saw the GOAT in concert. Just bucket list experience. Of course, I'm talking about Mariah Carey. No one
Got
else who
it.
even fits that description. Uh,
Fair.
and she was most diverse crowd for any concert I've ever been to. I'm talking old, I'm talking young, I'm talking any sexual orientation. Like everybody was out in full. I've never seen them come out like Mariah brings them out.
I mean, have you ever met somebody that says they don't like Mariah Carey? It fits, right? I've never heard it before.
No, I don't even know like what would be that person's problem. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Right, right. Like she's not problematic. The music slaps. What would be the issue? I don't. I've never met somebody say like, "Oh, her music is overrated." Never heard it. Never heard it. I don't like Mariah Carey. Never heard it. Not once. And that there's not many musicians I can say that about.
I don't know any like Taylor Swift's obviously massive. I know plenty of people who don't
Right.
care for her. Like entire races of people who are just like we're all set. Jay-Z, if you talk to someone old enough, they're still like, fuck Jay-Z, I'm a Nas guy. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah,
there's
for sure.
entire
For sure.
like and me, I'm a Cam guy, so it's like it was real touch and go with all that. Bad Bunny, I mean, he's like the biggest artist on the planet right now and has been for like 3 years. If you don't speak Spanish, you can still vibe out. But I definitely understand why some people would be like, that's not for me. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
I don't like Prince. There are Michael Jackson people. Michael Jackson. There are Prince people. Like there's like maybe like older people who grew up like during Motown. You know what I mean? People who
Maybe.
grew up
Right.
with like Aretha, with Tina Turner, with people like that who are just like, yeah, she's okay, but she doesn't hold a candle to them. But even then, they would still like her. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I've never seen it. Like I've never seen it. I've seen it with damn near everybody else. Now that we're talking about this, because there's always a reason. Like okay, I don't. Jay-Z bit off Biggie. Like, there's always a reason that somebody doesn't like somebody. Mariah's like, what would be the reason? Okay, you think she's not as good as Aretha Franklin? Okay, cool. That's a perfectly reasonable opinion to have. But like, she's also just good. Like at
Right.
the bare minimum, she's just good. She doesn't do shit to nobody, and the music hits. And every December, you're gonna be reminded.
Oh,
Every
buddy,
December.
December, fucking Halloween night.
True.
That
True.
shit,
True. True.
she's got that
Very
shit
fucking true.
down
True.
pat.
True.
And it's
True.
I've
Very
seen the
true.
take bubbling. It's not like a massive internet take yet. I think we're about 2 years away from it becoming like is a hot dog a sandwich type internet. But it's bubbling, and I'd love to ignore it, but I already see where it's going. I've been on the World Wide Web too long. People are starting to say All I Want for Christmas Is You is not a good song. And it's just like the most try hard take I've ever seen in my life. Me saying like Aaron Judge sucks, like as objectively untrue as that is, it's a better take than being like All I Want for Christmas Is You is a bad. Like, what are you talking about, man?
And I'm not even a Christmas music enthusiast. And how could that be a bad song? I don't, and I don't say that about many songs. How could that be? I could understand if it ain't necessarily a cup of tea because of Christmas. But saying it's a bad song, is it actually good? Is insane to me. It might not be. It might not be your lane. Okay, understood. It's not a good song. Like, come on, dog, really?
Dragonfly Jones had the best tweet on it, best take on it, and this was years ago. He said, I just always grew up assuming it was a take on a song that had already existed because Christmas music, fucking hundreds of years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when new Christmas songs come out, people are always like, pass. You know, and Jimmy Fallon had that Christmas COVID song 2 years ago. Everyone was like, "Get the fuck out of here, Jimmy Fallon!
I
Get it out of my
I missed
face!"
that. Thankfully, I
Yeah,
totally missed that. Thankfully,
most people did. Again, I'm on the internet too much. Uh, but he was like, this sounded like obviously like she owned it, but that it was like redone from the 50s or the 30s or something. And it's like the highest compliment you could really give it is just like, man, this shit came out. When did I like it just feels like it's been
it
around
just
my
feels like
entire
it's been
life.
around my whole life. So I don't I don't know when it came out. I feel like it's been around my entire life.
If you Google it, if you Google it, Google starts snowing. Listen, the amount of power Mariah Carey has is unprecedented.
That just makes the point. You don't have to say anything else about Mariah Carey or that song. That just makes the damn point.
It came out uh, October 29th, 1994. So that's really why she celebrates at Halloween every year. It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
my anniversary. Fuck the holiday.
But
This is my
and she's the
anniversary.
only person who I'm like, okay, you can play Christmas music in October. I don't care. Good for you. Everybody else is like, come on, dog. Can we at least wait until Thanksgiving to do this shit?
Next year is the 30th anniversary too. I'm just piecing this together. I can't imagine what she's gonna do for that. She's
She gonna start bumping that shit in July. Like fuck all that. She gonna start bumping that shit in July. Independence Day is
bro,
gonna come around. She gonna and we're gonna be hearing all I want for Christmas is you.
for for my wedding, the DJ, like you talk back and forth with them and he sends you this playlist software that he has. And I maxed it out. I didn't know you could max out a playlist, but it only allotted for like 6 hours. And he was like, I've never seen someone do that. Like I've never seen someone like I literally did I paid for his equipment essentially. I did his whole job. I did like the eating music, like little lower vibes, casual, and then I did all the rest. Like I just had the perfect playlist that's ever been created. And I put All I Want for Christmas Is You on there. I got married July 11th. Like I put All I Want for Christmas Is You on there and he played it last, and boy oh boy, I've never seen a happier group of people, self included. Like hearing those bells at the beginning, especially when you aren't expecting them, like a hot July day.
Hot fucking July day, right?
Unbelievable way to close. Like people talk about Shout being a great wedding song, and I'm not here to argue that. All I Want for Christmas Is You really should be in the mix more. Especially for you talk about a wedding. All I Want for Christmas Is You. It doesn't really matter when you're getting married. That shit stands.
It always feels like Christmas when you're with your spouse. Yeah,
Exactly.
it fits. It's perfect.
I'm glad we're here to talk about that because baseball's giving us fucking nothing. Literally nothing. She brought out Buster Rhymes to do Baby, if you give it to me, I'll give it to you. You know
What
what
is
I
even the
want.
name of that song? I forget what the name of that song
I
is.
think it's
Is it
Give It
Give
to
It to Me?
Me. It
Whatever.
might be.
Either way, it slaps. That's
She
all that
said it
matters.
was the first time they've ever performed it, and I was like, yeah, that tracks. That tracks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes, also a legend. Like I think one of the more underrated legends. He's just given you a hit. Kind of every year, it's slowed down a little bit lately, but kind of every year for like 30 years. But it was like, yeah, I could see her being like, I'll do this song. I'm not coming to Summer Jam with you hooligans to perform this shit.
No, always this shit like that always remind me when Michael Jackson was that Summer Jam. Funniest shit ever, man. So fucking funniest shit ever. And he was just like, "Hey, man, just as long as nobody touches me, I'm fine. Like, just don't. I don't want to be touched. Just don't touch me, and we'll get along just fine." And then you had the damn video with Jay-Z looking like he was just done with life, just cold stare on his face. Everybody else is just thrilled to be there, and Jay-Z is like, "Bro, why the fuck am I around these people, man?"
We don't get. I can't. I, I feel like we've had a Summer Jam moment within the last 10 years, but I don't know that we're gonna get another one. You know what I mean? Like those that used to be every summer. What happened? What was the event? That is everyone still alive? Like what?
That shit is
What
dead,
happened?
bro. That shit is dead, man. We have just
Very,
trended to a place where Summer Jam is just a thing of past memories, which is sad because it means I'm fucking old, but
very.
you know.
But you don't even get that like Rolling Loud. They just arrest people like the artists. Like, that feels like an unsustainable business model.
They arrest the artist?
Oh, at multiple Rolling Louds, like the headliners have been taken down just because it's like, well, we know where this guy's gonna be. Let's go get him. Like, just fucking up the money big time.
That doesn't seem like a great business model, man.
No, that seems like a terrible idea. And Coachella. I feel like Coachella's last big moment was the holograms, like hologram Tupac and stuff like that. And I've gone
that
since
was
then.
what, 10 years ago?
It's wild. Yeah, it's been a while. It
Been
might
a
have
while.
been
It's been a
15.
while, yeah.
It might have been 15, might have been 14, but yeah, about a decade. I just don't know where we're gonna get these moments anymore. But if Mariah, like, I don't, she doesn't do this Christmas tour every year. I saw it was coming. I was like, let me go see her at Madison Square Garden. I thought she was going to bring out more people. Just Bust a Bus and Flip Mode, the two legends.
I would have lost if you told me she was gonna bring out people and like which people was she gonna bring out, buddy? I would have lost that bet. There would have been a whole lot of people, I guess, before Bust Around the fucking Flip Mode squad.
It wasn't on my card. I was thrilled to see Flip Mode alive and well.
Right.
Headlining Madison Square Garden as he's wanted to do. But
good for them. Good for them. Get those checks. Good for them.
They did like maybe like a 45-minute DJ session to warm up the crowd and then ice the crowd because it took her another 25 minutes to come out, which I respect because she's a diva and the diva. But like that, the crowd was at a fever pitch. I believe it was DJ Sus One. I believe that's who it was. I love, especially New York DJs, the amount of yelling, the ratio of yelling to song playing is unmatched in New York. Like DJ Drama tries his best to match it. He's not even close to the ratio of New York DJs.
Nah, and I grew up listening to Funk Flex on the radio every night, and it wasn't. He would let the bombs do the yelling. Like that's what Funk Flex would do. He would just let the bombs do the yelling. And God forbid somebody drop a new song and that's the first time they playing it. It's just 57 bombs. It's like, all right, I like the sound effect. It's cool. I've never heard this song. I like to actually hear it though. Thank you. And we're not going to play it again. We're just going to play it once. 68 bombs throughout the song, and then whenever you hear the song after that, that's up to you.
So obviously, I was going to bring up Funk Master Flex. His mama named him Funk Master. I'm going to call him Funk Master. How long? Because he debuted Otis, which was a big fucking deal when it debuted. Otis is like a 3-minute song. How long do you think Funk Master Flex's debut of Otis, the world premiere? 10? Try 22, pal. 22 minutes and 6 seconds.
Oh my god! How many bombs did he drop throughout that, man? It must have been a heinous number.
Obama was like jealous at the amount of bombs he was trying. He was like, "Man, I haven't done that since 08. I've been slipping." I believe that's the famous go run into the bodega, put your hand in the cash register for no reason. I believe that came from the Otis debut.
Listen, man. Shout out to Vince Staples. He once said Obama got more drones than Best Buy. Like, shout out to him. He's a maniac. Love that guy. Total maniac.
Vince Staples is the best.
He's a total maniac, and I love it.
Without question. Someone asked him his top 3 favorite white people the other day, and he had Lionel Richie in the top 3. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. But shout out Mariah Carey. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I love going to New York around Christmas. But that's the thought of the past because like it's not Christmas weather anywhere, literally nowhere. Maybe like North Dakota. Maybe
Yeah,
North
that's
Dakota
it.
is getting some Christmas. Maybe like Buffalo, that lakes region. It was fucking a hurricane. I couldn't even get back because there was a hurricane happening in New England, not a snowstorm. Snowstorm would have been great. You can land in a snowstorm, but not when there's 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and pouring rain because of a fucking hurricane.
Dog, we don't even have seasons anymore. We don't have seasons. No. Like summer is the only thing that's constant. Like we got summer, and then we just got every. You could
Mush.
get spring, winter, fall in the same week. Shit, in the same day. If you fuck around enough, you get that shit in the same day. It's 65 degrees. At 3 o'clock p.m. It's 32 degrees in the morning, and then it's like 58 at night. Just we don't even have seasons except
I
summer.
I think, and I've had this belief for a while. I think they fucked up where the seasons go because summer has been creeping into October, like for
Mm-hmm.
like my
Yeah.
birthday is September 10th. Growing up, it was fucking cold on September
Mm-hmm.
10th. It is no longer cold on September 10th ever, ever. So what I think we need to do, and people hate this idea, we've let uh Triskaideka phobiacs rule too much of this. They have way too much pull. I don't know who the triskaidekaphobia lobbyists are. They may be the strongest out. The number 13 has been all but banished from society. If you go to buildings throughout New York City, skyscrapers, there will not be a 13th floor. There will be no button you can push to get
It's
to the
insane
13th floor.
behavior to me, but
Obviously, there's still a 13th floor. Like that, there's still
right.
one that's there. They just skip it because of that number. There is no good reason for there to be 12 months, other than the fact that it's a round number. If you ask somebody how many weeks are in a month, they'll say 4. Those people are shooting a horrid, a Kobe Bryant in the finals type field goal percentage because only one of the 12 months has 4 weeks, and that's February. Fucking one. Now, if we do a little bit of math here, there's 52 weeks in a year. You divide that by 4, what do you get? Bang, 13. There should be 13 fucking months. And I think if we put this month somewhere probably between March and April, somewhere like that, now you can reset the seasons reasonably. Now, people will be upset because the seasons get broken down nicely, 3 months for each one. Like we're saying, there aren't seasons anymore. We need to get this shit back on track. Get daylight savings time the fuck up out of here.
Please, please,
And get
for once and for all, man, please.
get me off this 12-month schedule. It stinks. There's no reason there's nothing telling us. There's no law that says we have to stick by this. None.
It's tradition, Coley.
Is it? Like,
That's my best guess as to why we can't fucking change it. Because I've been asking that question my whole life. Like, how do we have 12 months and 52 weeks? That doesn't. You've been telling me that there's 4 weeks in a month my whole life. Like my whole life. Like growing up as a kid, you was like, it's 4 weeks in a month, and then I got to a point where I was like 8, and I'm like, if there's 52 weeks in a year. How are you then going to turn around and tell me there's 12 months? That doesn't make any fucking sense. When you're telling me
math
that
doesn't math.
also that there's 4 weeks in a month.
Yeah, the math doesn't add up. You know what group of people stumbles upon this accidentally? And it's not one that likes to be pointed out or made fun of. So what I'm about to do is a fucking high wire act because I live with one of them. Is a pregnant woman. Pregnant women all of a sudden go, well, wait a minute. I've been told it was 9 months for pregnancy, but it's 40 weeks. 40 weeks doesn't go to 9 months. And I've had this conversation with every woman in my family when it's got brought up. It's like, listen, you're already doing the Lord's work. You get the most credit any group of people gets. Like you get the proper amount of credit for the sacrifice you are making. Trying to stretch it to 10 months just because you don't understand how weeks work is insane. It's insane behavior.
I really now you say that this is a high wire act really makes sense. I was wondering where the fuck you were going with this, and then you were like, "I live with one." I'm like, "You live with one?" Pregnant women, like, "Oh, we're talking about pregnant women now." Okay, got it.
Yeah, I love them to death. Absolutely. Again, thank you for your service, braver than the troops, all that. It's just not 10 months. I like me breaking it down the way we've done it here with the February thing and the rest of the months not that melts their brains to the point where they're just like, no, it's 10 months. No, it's not. That's not how months work. That's just not. You've been lied to by Big Calendar. It's not me. I'm not the enemy here. Absurd. Absolutely absurd. By the way, we're in year what? 2023, about to be 2024. According to fucking who? They started that year one shit well after society had been established. Like, this is not year 2023. We have no fucking idea what year we're cruising along at. So yeah, we can add another month, no problem. We can make it year one again if we really want to. There's a theory out there called the Phantom Time hypothesis. I can't remember what century it was, but basically it was a bunch of leaders like Rome, Greece, those kind of like heads of state that were like, we'll modernize it a little bit. We got to experience the year 2000. That's a big deal. I can't remember if it was the year 1000 or like 1200. They were like, we're not going to make it. The average age of life is like 37. It was like year 90. It was like year 95 or something. They were like, what if we just sped this shit up a little bit, added a couple of 100 years so we could say we saw this year? We have no idea whether or not, like, we just don't know what year it is. Anyone who looks you in the eye and says with authority they know what year it is, they're a liar and not to be trusted. Don't trust that person.
I mean, yeah, just what does that add? Like, yes, we legitimately do not know what fucking year it is. It could be what we in 2023. It could be 2045. It could be 2103. It could be 2203. We don't fucking know. Like, they just got up and decided, like, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna say we're in whatever year. Like, we're gonna say 200 years from now. Why not?
I want to count the dinosaur years. Give me like 67 billion. I want the year to be so fucking confusing for everyone.
Can you imagine? I mean, we don't even write no more. But can you imagine like try to plug that kind of year into anything? I'm just like, hey, fuck that shit, man. I'm just gonna make up years on the shit that I write. Fuck it. Like, if you could tell me we in 2023 now, we're in 8 billion or whatever the fuck the year would be at that point. Okay, fine. I'm just gonna say we in 1948 again. How about that? That's what I'm gonna do.
Very dangerous for you. Very dangerous for you.
Touche. Touche.
You go in the future.
Yeah. I'll say it's 1996. Let's go with that. That's a way better year than 1948. Too fucking shit. Touche.
Oh, speaking of which, I didn't even think we were gonna get to this. Shout out Ben Verlander. When you take dick riding just a little too far. When you take it just a little too far. Nobody has argued that the Dodgers signing Shohei Ohtani wasn't a big deal. Not a single person. Right. There's no need to try and take it to the umpteenth degree and say it's the single most important signing in Dodgers history.
Brother.
It's a take. I'll get hats off. It's a take. It's a terrible take, but it's a take.
I am not against all forms of nepotism. I think some are okay. I think some give us good results. Yada, yada, yada. Right? Everything that Ben Verlander says makes me hate Justin Verlander that much more. I already don't like Justin Verlander. I never have. And everything Ben Verlander says makes me be like, man, I hate that motherfucker even more. Because he is the reason we hear, and he is the reason Ben Verlander is a fucking thing. And it, like, Shohei Ohtani is the most important. Here's the thing, man. Even if you could have laid on 1 million superlatives. You didn't even need to go there. You just didn't need to go there. You could point to his stats. We all see him. We ain't blind. We know he's fucking great. The man just signed a $700 million contract. He's going to be getting paid until he's like 88. Okay, we all understand that shit. We know he's fucking great. Like, why did you need to go the extra mile? There is no bigger dick rider in sports media than him. And am I speaking out of turn? I don't feel like there's a close second either. Everything, this man, first of all, the fact that Shohei even allows this man to still exist means that he didn't use enough power during his negotiations. He can still exist and tweet among us. He didn't use his power well enough.
That'd have
Because
been unbelievable if
if
he was
I'm
just like,
Shohei Ohtani, Ben Verlander's existence is the first thing I'm negotiating. Like, yo, as long as you get this man to stop fucking tweeting about me, I don't care what he does for a living. Just if he tweets about me, he's getting sued. I don't care what he tweets. It could be great. It could be awful. It's never awful. It could be great. It could be a
no.
lie. It could be the truth. It could be my highlight package. It could be a 20-minute highlight video. Anything he tweets about me that has my face in it, my name in it, he's getting fucking sued and removed. That's
It
it.
would be unbelievable if the reason Shohei needed all the secrecy around his meetings is because he just walked in, put a pistol on the table, and it's just like take him out, get him out of here.
Listen, I'm not signing here unless you deal with that dude. Like you make him disappear, I'll sign with you. That's it. Like
I need it done today.
I did today, like right now, today. That's it. I don't. What's the meeting? 1:00. I need this. I need this done by the end of by 4:00.
Yeah,
Before it gets
banking
dark
hours.
outside.
Yeah,
I need this done. I need him dealt with.
that would be. It's kind of like a reverse John Wick type movie where it's like you just see all these GMs from across the country trying to find Ben Verlander.
Right, bro. They gotta do something about that dude, man. Like, and the thing is,
what, like,
go ahead.
Where does how would you define Skip Bayless LeBron? Because it's to me, it's still dick riding, even if it's hating.
Skip had good moments, at least. He had good moments. He had some funny tweets. He's been washed for like a decade. Don't get me wrong. Like the shit that he's been doing now has been whacked for a while. But he had a peak where it's like, even me, biggest LeBron fan you know probably, I'm like, yo, that was funny. That was good work. I'm not gonna lie, that was good work. Has been for the last like 10 years. He had a peak. Ben Verlander, he's not funny. He doesn't put forth anything that makes you think. He doesn't know the sport that well, at least the few fucking times he gives his opinions outside of show. He's great. Oh my God. There's nothing about Ben Verlander that is redeeming. There's no redeeming qualities here about his existence in that space. Nothing.
I can't remember. I think I was traveling. Maybe it was when I was in Atlanta. And like the hotel TVs, sometimes they have like the Netflix hookup. When they don't and you're stuck on cable, I don't give a fuck how bad the streaming wars have gotten. Cable's still terrible. Excuse me. And I saw that there was a Shohei Ohtani documentary on Fox Sports, and I was like, I'll watch that. It was not a Shohei Ohtani documentary. It was a Ben Verlander Goes to Japan documentary where he talks about Shohei Ohtani. And to be fair to him, they do fucking love him over there because he's spreading the good word of Shohei, as if everyone else over here is fucking quiet about him. But
right.
He went over there. The entire thing is about Ben Verlander. Like, none of it is about Shohei Ohtani. Not a second of it is about Ohtani. And it drove me insane. I was texting Jared about it. I was like, have you seen this fucking thing? And he was like, yeah, it's the most, like, you couldn't have an easier thing to do. Go over there, talk about Shohei Ohtani, show me his school.
There's so many things you could talk about. So many things.
He talks about doing his podcast over there. He's talking about driving to places, fan meetups. I'm like, why is this? How did this make it to TV? Like, how? I understand they already spent the money on it, but just dump it like the fucking Wile E. Coyote movie. Just throw it in the trash. Throw it right in the trash.
He irks me so much, dog. That guy irks me. So I saw that shit and I was like, of fucking course he would be the one to say it. Because I didn't see, like, I read that shit. I wasn't paying that much attention. So I just saw the quote without actually seeing the name attached to it. So I'm like, okay, who said, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course he did. Of course. Of course he did. That's all he does. Like, all right, we get it. Shohei's great at baseball. All right.
Tremendous.
He's great at baseball. Do you need to tell me this with every single one of your tweets? I don't, how much are you getting paid for this? Listen, if his salary is high enough to justify being this fucking shameless with his meat riding, all right, you got it. Like, cool. Is it? I don't know. It can't be done every day, bro. Like, there are other baseball players in the world, bro. Every day.
To be fair for a second, Nothing else has happened in baseball this whole offseason.
Oh, I ain't even the off season. Like, if he was to do that this off season, fine. I haven't seen shit from him. Like, fine. This off season is different because if you don't talk about Shohei, you ain't talking about shit. Like,
Nothing.
before he signed, obviously Soto got traded ball, but for the most
Sure.
part, the free agents is just Shohei. Once Shohei signs, we can talk about everybody else. That's how it goes, and that's how it is. I'm talking about May 8th. And we're talking about Shohei Ohtani. Like, bro, there's 15 games on the schedule. I'm sure you can find somebody else to talk about.
Right. Definitely mention him. I'm not saying stop
Right,
talking about him.
exactly. That's all he
But
got. That's the only
the
pitch he
rest,
throws. Like you ain't got nothing else in the toolbox. That's the only pitch he throws.
and I'm sure exactly one person's gonna be like, well, Coley, you do this with every Boston team, and it's like, yeah, I mean, a Boston sports commentator. I do it for several people on every single team I watch. That's already different. Like already immediately different.
You grew up there. Like you
Well,
like
it's like
these
I grew up
teams.
there.
Like,
That's how I make my money, is talking about Boston sports
correct.
specifically. Now I have the show with 89 where I talk about where I get yelled at about the NFL. I have this show, which is a very Boston and New York forward show. Two things I know more about than the rest of the country. Like, if you're here, which I don't think anyone is, for like the 24th man discussion on the Milwaukee Brewers, like, I don't got it. I'm being quite honest with you. Like, and that's no disrespect. It's just not how, like, I've got multiple kids, multiple jobs. Like, it's hard for me to watch every single team.
I have multiple jobs. I do not have multiple kids. And you know what else what else I don't have? Fucks to give about who the 24th man of the Brewers is. No disrespect. If you want us to talk about Jackson Trio, I can talk about Jackson Trio all day.
Super different.
Cool. Could talk about him all day. I'm not going to be talking about Gerardo Parra or whoever the fuck the 24th man on the fucking Brewers is. No disrespect to him, but no. Sorry.
I might have some Parra takes, but that's for another day. It's not for today.
I'm not talking about Miguel Cairo, with all due respect. Sorry.
I can't imagine, like, the Dodgers of all teams. If Shohei Ohtani had signed with, I can't even give you the Giants. If Shohei Ohtani had signed with the Mariners, no doubt you can say that's the biggest free agent signing in their history. Not even a close second. The Red Sox, I feel like you might be able to say that. I don't know who else it would be. Obviously, they were the last team.
I mean, they traded for Ortiz, correct?
No, they did sign Ortiz, but at the time of the signing, it
wasn't a big. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, well, like in retrospect, yeah, Ortiz is
right, but at the time,
like,
it was one of those that make the last line of the paper, like one of those at that time.
Well, it was like we signed him, Millar, and someone, like, there was going to be a battle for first when we brought in Ortiz. You know what I mean? Right. It was not like this guy's immediately the everyday DH. Like, his first year, he was not he played, I think, 127 games, something along those lines. So he carved out that role pretty quickly, but it was not like, oh, we're just handing this guy an everyday job when we signed him. Right. Pedro was the only one who was just like, this is what we've been missing. I promise this is the guy.
Man, he was fucking right. I hate him for it. Buddy, he's never been more right in his life.
I mean, I hate the Twins just waived him. Like, that's the insane. They didn't even trade. They just released him. And Pedro got on the horn that day. And that's kind of what, like, I remember it becomes a thing with certain athletes. Guys, like, I remember with Melo and the Knicks, he was like, I don't recruit. That's not my job. People lost their fucking minds. Certain guy, Tatum recently has been like, I don't recruit. I let Brad do his thing. People didn't lose their minds because Brad's been cooking. So that's where it's like, yeah, good. Like, right. Like, you focus on the basketball, he'll focus on that.
Don't fix it.
Right.
Brad's
it's definitely
work.
Case by case. But when I look at the current Red Sox, who even would recruit? I don't know that we have a person who would do that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Devers, I guess. He doesn't seem like the type. So
he's from the organization, though. Like, all the guys he would recruit play for the Padres and the Dodgers. Like, that's where it's just like, I don't. For long-term deals. Like, he can't recruit those guys.
That's true. He can't. That's true.
Like, he might be able to recruit Soto because of the Dominican ties next offseason, but that's also where it's not on him to be like, hey, trade our top prospects for this guy. Like, of course, that's not
No,
what
that
it's way different trade versus free agency. When a guy hits free agency, yeah, pick up the fucking phone. When you're just talking trades and stuff, yeah, there's not much to do.
and
But
even
when it's
in
free
free
agency,
agency, it's like you can recruit as much as you want. If ownership not willing to pay, they're not willing to pay.
sure, yeah, it's a lot different when Pedro picks up Theo and he's like, "Hey, this guy costs whatever league minimum was in
Right,
2003.
right. It costs
You know,
nothing,
he's
dude.
like $80,000. It's like, fine, Pedro, we'll do
Right, like
that.
fine, man. Damn, here you go, man. Damn,
Yeah,
get out of my office, bro.
you get a quick 550 to give Soda, my pal. Like, yeah, it's definitely different for sure. So
I
that's
was
where
looking at
it's
him like,
like,
yo, are you crazy? You think I got $550 to give somebody? I ain't got it, bro. Bye, get out of my office.
the the Red Sox fan base is restless. There's still some people arguing the other side of it, which I just can't understand for the life of me. There's some people who are still choosing optimism. I tip my cap to them. I'm not going to tear down anyone who's choosing to be optimistic. I just, as someone who typically chooses to be optimistic when it comes to all things Red Sox, like there's nothing for me to point to be like, yes, there's the reason for optimism. Like again, they were the ones who came out with these full throttle comments. They haven't backed them up even a little bit. Like today, the Padres signed the top Japanese closer to replace Josh Hader. I was told nobody could sign fucking anybody until Yamamoto signed. Clearly, that's not true. The Giants signed, was it Jung Ho Lee?
Yes.
Yeah, they signed him. Big deal. Credit to the
6'4" and
Giants.
14, I believe it was. Yep.
Yeah, credit to the Giants. They landed somebody. Got to give them credit.
Finally. Took them
Yeah,
long enough.
apparently, the KBO isn't afraid of the mean streets of San Francisco, as that insane narrative's been pushed. Like I've hated everything. What's really bothered me the most this past regular season was one of the most watched regular seasons, really post steroids, like in the '90s and stuff. Obviously, post steroids, baseball's needed a regular season like this. The postseason wasn't great. Didn't like the thing that sticks out to me the most is Braves fans and writers crying every day,
Oh, that was great.
and
That was
the
great. It was
Rangers,
great to laugh at them. It's great.
like the Rangers, just dismantled everybody in their path. So and
Sure did.
so it was like there
Sure
wasn't
fucking did.
much drama in that sense. I feel like the Phillies gave us some drama. They lost. No one
Like
cared
the
about.
most dramatic series the Rangers played was against the Astros, and they scored 87 runs in Game 7. So it was like Game 6 was a classic, and
Yes.
then Game 7 was a complete dud.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. And like the Baltimore series, like all the teams that people were like, "Oh, look at these fun young teams," just got thumped, and it was just like, "Well, here are the." Did I? Am I? Am I still here?
you are now, yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I don't me either. I
Typically,
just saw you
both
freeze. I'm like,
cameras.
oh boy.
Yeah, typically one camera goes down. For some reason, both did. Didn't care for that. Um, but yeah, there were absolutely. It's like Yamamoto. It was originally like, oh, he's going to sign kind of right around Christmas. Now they're saying it's going to be like the first week of January. If other teams aren't going to make moves until then, I don't know that they could have fumbled the momentum from the regular season worse than you can't control the playoff games. And I'm not angry that the Rangers won. They dominated. I'm happy for them. It was their first one.
Right.
That shit doesn't bother. I don't give a fuck about the ratings for the postseason. Like that doesn't bother me at all. They have a lot of control over. Like they just handed out the Hank Aaron Awards the other like yesterday. Like that's insane. That's insane.
It's fucking December. Season ended 3 months ago. What are we doing, bro?
It's almost next year. Like we're really up against next year at this point. You can't be still trickling out awards. You can have the offseason be so much better. Even just like I know there's a start date to the offseason. That first signing always comes out of nowhere. Make it the winter meetings. Make it a build-up. Have things to talk about. More shit will get done. Like, and I understand it's the year after the lockout year. Last year, there was a ton of money flying all over the place. It was a deeper free agent class, all that. There aren't even trades happening. Every trade I see is like depth moves from everyone.
Yeah.
Now, the Red Sox are guilty of that too, but it was like the Mets just swapped with the Brewers for depth pieces. And those are fine moves that help baseball teams more often than not.
But ain't nobody coming on here to talk about Adrian Hauser, with all due respect. He's
No.
cool. He's fine. Like, fine, 4 or 5 starter. Cool. We can't have a segment about Adrian. This shit is boring. Like, the MLB free agency is boring. It always has been, but, like, it's worse now because we have so much access to the
Sure.
writers and the media personalities or whatever else who just tweet bullshit all day long, like nonsense. Do you remember the year? I guess they must have gotten Woj's ear about breaking the draft picks,
Yeah.
and then that draft that year he did the same thing, but like would be, oh, the Blazers are keen on this, that, and the
Yeah.
third right
He,
before.
he broke the thesaurus out. Yeah.
Oh, buddy, did he? Oh my! It was excellent trolling, but
It was
it was
very
excellent
funny.
trolling. But that's what these baseball writers do. How many times are you gonna fucking tell me that the Yankees and Dodgers have money and prestige to offer Yamamoto, and the Mets and Giants have money to offer him? How many different times can you tell that to me in different
Right.
words? How many? We get it. The Yankees and Dodgers are the alleged co-favorites. You've told me this. Shit, what is today? Wednesday. You told me this yesterday. You told me this Monday, Sunday. We get the fucking point. You're not telling me nothing new at all.
No.
And
No.
until he signs, it's gonna be the same shit. Like, oh well, and then you got people just guessing and pulling shit out of their ass. Like, oh, I don't know if he wants to share a team with another Japanese player. Like, you don't know him. You don't know him at all. The Yamamoto shit, at least on his end, like nothing is coming from them. Like there are no leaks coming from them. That shit is tight. There's no leaks coming from them. So it's just everybody fucking guessing. And then you got media personalities telling us the same shit in different words for 75 consecutive tweets. We get it. You told us the same shit at 3 Eastern, 4 Eastern, 5 Eastern, and 6 Eastern. We get it. Yamamoto he gonna get a lot of money, and the Yankees and Dodgers are at the head of the pack. We get it. How many times are you gonna tell us this? And I'm saying this as a team who's involved directly in it and is allegedly the favorite. And I am tired of reading this shit. So I could only imagine what it's like being a Giants fan reading this shit every day.
It's been like the Red Sox updates of it are even more maddening because there's still some people who are like they could get him, and it's just what's the path? Like he's like they've won more this millennium than anyone else. If you just ignore like the very recent last 2 year history, they've won more than anyone else. They've had Daisuke, they've had Okajima, they've had Koji. Like they've had Japanese pitchers that he could talk to that could either say yes, no, however they feel about the city. I have no idea, but however they feel. They have Yoshida in left field, who he played with Oryx. It would still have to be comparable money to everywhere else, and that's where the train falls off the track to me. Like that's exactly where it's like I can't envision a world. Now I think it was Trevor Plouffe earlier with John Boy was saying everyone's just kind of locking him into these 12-year deals. Why would he necessarily want, like he's moving across the world? Are we sure he just wants to sign with a team for the rest of his career today? Or are we sure he doesn't want to hit free agency again when he's 30 and maybe go somewhere else? Like I don't think it's a terrible point.
I mean, the way I read the 12-year deals, I'm just assuming he's gonna get an opt out after like 5.
Sure.
That's how I've always read them. Because signing 12 years somewhere is insane anyway. Like with just if you have no options or you got an option after like year 9, like that, you locking yourself into a long fucking relationship, and you don't know these people. Like you know what promises they're giving you on the front end. You don't know how they're gonna act once you live with them. Like you have no idea how they're gonna act once you live with them. So I just assume he's gonna take he's gonna insert a player option there, year 4, year 5, what have you. But if he wants to sign for 12 years with the Yankees, go ahead, boss. Go ahead, please.
Tyler Milliken tweeted this out earlier. According to Chad Jennings and Jen McCaffrey, the Red Sox believe they're still in the mix for Yamamoto. Quote, team sources indicate the Red Sox are very much in the mix, But how the bidding war progresses is the big question. Apparently, the Red Sox seem willing to extend beyond their comfort zone, but there's a question to whether they'll go as far as some teams are apparently willing to go. So they're not in it. Like that, it's a lot of words to say we're not in it. And it's like, what?
That's what I was
Fucking,
thinking. What you got to edit? Like, what? We don't know if they're willing to go the extra mile. Like,
yeah.
but then you're not
Like
in it
that.
then.
You're not,
You're not
unless
in
you're
it.
going to be like, hey, we'll give you 1 year, $50 million. Like maybe he would love that. Maybe he'd be all about that. Outside of that, I see no world where they're in it at all. Like, and that's fine. But that doesn't mean you have to wait. Like, call Montgomery. If he wants the Rodon deal, fucking give it to him. Who gives a shit?
Call
Chris
Snell.
Hill's,
Call Montgomery. Call
I don't,
somebody.
I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, they're going to pivot hard to Snell. That would infuriate me more than anything because it would tell me that there is absolutely no plan. When they hired Craig and they hired Bailey, all they've talked about is that they value strike throwers and they aren't going to go after someone with a qualifying offer. I think Blake Snell's a really good pitcher. I think Craig Breslow and Andrew Bailey know more about pitching than me. He's won 2 Cy Youngs, and I think he will continue to be successful. If they're saying, hey, we have this system we're trying to implement, it involves getting guys who throw strikes. That is not Blake Snell's jam.
No,
Nibble.
not at all.
He is going to paint, and he's a really good pitcher. It is diametrically opposing thoughts between him and our pitching staff. And I don't know that the 2-time Cy Young winner is going to all of a sudden on the other side of 30 be like, I'm changing all my shit. That's not going to happen. That would be such a panic move, and it would just reinforce the fact that it was stupid to fire Heim if the GMs have no say in anything. You shouldn't have any GM. You shouldn't have any CBO. You shouldn't have any of that if ownership is just going to be like, well, this is just for headlines. Let's sign a guy who doesn't fit in with what we're doing at all. It's stupid. Like, that's where I'd be like, that would infuriate me. A lot of people would celebrate it because they signed a 2-time Cy Young winner. And it's not like I would hate the player. I would not hold it against him. But you just hired these guys to rebuild your entire pitching process, top to bottom. Your first move can't be to go sign a guy who doesn't fit with that philosophy at fucking all.
Like, unless their plan is just, all right, for a guy who's this good, we're willing to just bring him in and say, all right, you do you, and then work on everybody else. I don't think that's that far fetched, but at the same time, on the other side of the coin, you're gonna have to dedicate big years and big bucks to that kind of guy. He already doesn't fit what you do, and there are already kind of alarming signs under the hood with him that he might not age the best. So it's tough. It's
and
tough.
there's like, all right, you're gonna make exceptions for this guy. Why would I listen? Like, what makes you think I'm also not like it just immediately fucks up everything.
I mean, to be fair, you could then turn around and say, brother, do you have a 3.1 ERA despite walking 5 people per 9? No. Okay, then shut up. Then you can say whatever you want about, okay, why don't the same rules apply to Blake Snell? Have you seen his resume? That's why.
For sure. I get that part of it too, but it just immediately causes dissension. It immediately undermines the people you just brought in. You know what I mean? It's already saying we're looking at our next GM. You know what I mean? We're looking for the next
right.
guy.
Because the thing is, like, if they do pivot to Blake Snell, you could be assured that was not a GM idea. Because the GM it doesn't fit what he wants, and you'd have to sink big years and big money into the dude. If Blake Snell came, if for some reason he was willing to sign a 3-year deal, he's not. But if for some reason he was willing to sign a 3-year deal, nobody would care. They'd be like, all right, well,
sure.
for 3 years, I'll deal with it, and then just he's going to do what he does, and we'll work on everybody else, and we'll just kind of let Blake be Blake.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's right now Montgomery and Shota Imanaga, the other Japanese pitcher who I think the Athletic has like as a number 12, 11 or 12 free agent. Not pitcher, just free agent. I've seen him get projected from anywhere from a number 2 to like a swing rotation guy.
Yeah, I've seen. Oh yeah, the Rangers are wild with that dude, bro. I've seen like, oh, he's a frontline starter. Like, oh, that makes you feel good. Like, yeah, like, oh, on an ideal team, he's a number 7 starter. Like,
yeah, right.
How do y'all have such different opinions about the same player? That's crazy to me.
Right.
It is what it
He had
is.
a good WBC. He's had a good career in Japan. I feel like he'll probably be okay. And he throws strikes. Like he pounds the
Yeah, he
zone.
does.
So
That's a fit.
that seems to align fucking perfectly with what we're trying to do here. And if he's our number 4, cool. We fucking need that too. Like that's where it's like get Montgomery at the front, get Imanaga at the back, go trade for somebody. Like you can still do that. It would make so much more sense to me to trade for somebody, even with 1 year left on their deal, than to just give Blake Snell a bunch of money. If they've already come out and said they're not chasing qualifying offer guys, and he doesn't fit philosophically with what Bailey and those have been the two big moves the Red Sox have made so far. They fired Heim and replaced him with Craig Breslow, and then they poached Andrew Bailey. That's been their offseason so far. If you're not going to back that up with tangible moves, that was fucking stupid.
I'm a big fan of their all season, to be honest. Big fan.
Joel, we traded Alex Verdugo.
Big wasn't a big fan of that one. To be fair, wasn't a big fan of that one. But besides that, I'm
That
a
was a
big fan
great
of the Red
move.
Sox off season.
And you guys shout out, you got Jeter Downs too.
Oh yeah. We got 2/3 of the Mookie Betts trade. Who was the third leg? It was
Connor
Verdugo
Wong.
down, then Connor Wong. Okay, is he's still on the team, correct?
He's our starting catcher, yeah.
Okay, good. At least you got something out of the Mookie Betts trade that's still there. That's
Listen,
great.
if you ask anybody, catcher is way more important than a guy like Mookie Betts doesn't even have a position. If we really want to talk about it, they don't know where to play this guy because of how much he stinks. Like
speak on it.
He's just so they're like, where can we play?
Where can we play this guy? We don't know where he fits. Like, what is this?
They can't find a spot for this. That's why they got Shohei. They were like, we just need somebody with a brain in this lineup. We just need somebody who can perform.
And then you got Connor Wong. You got a catcher who could throw. That's important. I don't even know if he could throw, but let's pretend he can. He can throw and he can throw. He can field a little bit. Like that's important. Who cares about some Mookie Betts? Who cares about a top 3 to 5 player in baseball? Who cares about that?
Again, no position. Like get me a guy who has a position. Connor Wong.
You know who has a position? IKF.
I'm still not against that. Like he'd be our number 2 pitcher.
I'm not against it either because, buddy, that would be great content. So go ahead, please sign him, please.
It would be our biggest acquisition so far, without a doubt. So like, wouldn't even be close. That's the other part. Like you talk about how we just keep getting hammered over the head with all the Yamamoto shit. I don't hear any Bellinger news. I don't hear any Rhys Hoskins news. Like no one else. I've heard more Justin Turner news than I've heard about anyone else.
The Rhys Hoskins shit is weird. That's just because you're going to assume based on he's recovering from an injury. You're not going to be paying long years for him, and the man can hit. So I don't. Well, there being no noise there makes no sense to me. The Bellinger shit is playing out in a very obvious way. Boris set out a number. Nobody's even close to that shit. Eventually, this will get to February, and then he'll have to sign. Like that. That's how this is gonna go. It's like the JD Martinez shit with Boston from 17, 18, whatever year it was, 18. Where like you mentioned it last episode, where he Boris came in hot, talking about 200 mil or whatever it was. He came in hot, and the rest I was like, yo, we got 120 that they ended up giving him, 110, whatever it was,
110, 105.
Okay, we got 110 for you. Like, okay, 2 weeks pass. Yo, 190. We got 110, baby. 2 more weeks pass, like 170. We got 110. And then that's how this is gonna go. Because that $200 million talk was delusional. And Boris knows that shit.
Delusional. I think it's delusional if he's asking for like 5 years. I don't think that's delusional if you give him 8.
All of Major League Baseball is telling you that he's delusional for that shit.
Well, I don't even know if I can believe that because no one can do anything until fucking Yamamoto signs. I was told Shohei would sign, all the rest of the dominoes would fall. No, we're gonna wait for Yamamoto now too.
Now it's Yamamoto, and now that's fair. I mean, we are in a holding pattern. It's not like a whole bunch of people are signing besides Cody. Like Matt Chapman
Yeah,
is still there. We don't hear nothing about him. Reese Hoskins is
nothing,
still there. We don't hear nothing about him. There's a whole bunch
nothing.
of dudes like Amanaga is there. We don't hear nothing about him either. We don't hear shit about any of these dudes.
That one I understand more than this one. Like, because he's another Japanese pitcher, the number 2 Japanese
Right,
pitcher on the
right. Oh
market.
yeah, for
I
sure.
understand that. Like, Keiagawa did not sign before Daisuke Matsuzaki. And maybe he did. I don't remember.
Fair.
But it's not like that was not
Fair.
what people were focused on.
Right.
So that's where it's just like, it's just, there was a minute there where I thought this offseason was going to get a little bit of spice. And that was when Rocky Sasaki, the actual, and I'm not saying this because the Red Sox aren't getting Yamamoto, the actual best pitching prospect in Japan right now is Rocky Sasaki.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable.
Yes, he is.
He's an electric factory. And he demanded to be posted, and they were like, shut the fuck up and sit back down. They didn't consider posting him for a second. But man, with that, like,
that would
Yamamoto would have. I think Yamamoto would have had him killed because that would have completely under. He's younger and better. Like it really would have fucking sucked for Yamamoto.
And I can't wait till he's the Yankees' number 2 starter next year. It's gonna be great.
No, I think he's like 3 years away.
Is he? Okay, well.
I know it's not close. Like,
right,
like him asking was insane. I know it wasn't close.
Hey, like, yo, can I get posted? Like, you don't get the fuck out of my office. No, fuck out of my office. Bye.
Well, it's like there's some weird like maturation process with the posting fee, where if he were to get posted, the team that has his rights would get they'd get like $1 million or something, whereas you see Oryx Buffaloes are about to get like 50 million for Yamamoto because he's the right age to leave. But Rocky, he would like I can't remember if it's the Tiger, I can't remember what team has him. They would just get nothing. And so they're like, yeah, fuck that. Like, that's where it's like, where are the Tom Brady under the table deals? Where is John Henry using his fucking brain and being like, listen, we know you're not supposed to get cashed out. We'll give you $50 million if we can sign this guy today. Like, that's so easy. It's so obvious. Fucking cheat, idiots. Like, what are you doing?
Hey man, listen, I'm all for cheating if it makes sense, man. Like, and that makes a lot of sense. Like, why not just pay him under the table? Just don't have your shit traceable. Seems pretty easy to me. I don't know how. I've never seen $50 million. I don't know how you're supposed to get into the person without having a trace. I have no fucking idea. I'm not a criminal, but figure the shit out. Like you got a lot of. You're a billionaire. You know some slime balls.
Send it from Liverpool. Send it from the Penguins. Send it from fucking anywhere. It doesn't matter. Bunch of hockey equipment shows up in Japan. Who did fell off a truck? It fell, like, what are you talking? It's easy.
You're gonna be like, what made you post? What made you post? Oh, we just felt like it was the right time. We wanted to do what was best for him. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Right. They just sit on a golden throne, the president of the whatever team he's on. Yeah, that would have added some real juice to this free agents. This juiceless free. It's like fucking the lemon if you go to the grocery store, the lemon at the very bottom of the pile of lemons. It's been there for months. They just keep dumping new lemons on it. That's what this offseason's been. Fucking juiceless.
Like
awful.
The free agency is always there's always significant lulls in it. So like that's not new, but I just feel like the writers and media personalities are just more obnoxious than they've ever been. And maybe I'm missing the mark here. Maybe they were that, and like my team wasn't super involved in the stuff, so I kind of
paid no
attention to it. But yeah, because like Soto Moon, and we had people telling us for 4 days like the Yankees are the favorites, the Padres like the Yankees pitching, and just repeating that shit with different words for 4 days, and now we're doing the same shit like the Yankees and Dodgers like their chances. Yeah, duh. We know. Can you tell us something new? Like at least you tell. Like I don't give a fuck about him having dinner at Steve Cohen's house. That fine. At least that's a new detail. Like he's having dinner at his house. I personally do not care.
That doesn't make you worried at all.
No,
that's insane.
No, it doesn't.
No.
The Dodgers are terrifying me. If we want to be
sure, yeah, that's understandable.
The Mets don't scare me here. They don't.
Old ownership, Will Pons, I agree. They probably would have given him food poisoning. He'd be in the hospital right now, like that, no doubt. Cohen, I don't like a lot of these guys and a lot of free agents, not just like the Japanese players. A lot of free agents have a desire to win and get paid. That's
True.
the thing. I don't think Cohen, the richest guy in baseball, comes off as like a loser. You know what I mean? Like he's on the team what 3 years? Has it even
Yeah,
been that long?
I think it's been 3.
I
Might have been
like
2. Whatever, 2 or
yeah.
3.
I don't.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that long.
Not
Like
even
it's
that long. Last year, or the year before, at a minimum, I think it was the year before that, but it's at
yeah.
least 2. Yeah.
And like they went out, they got Senga. I wouldn't be shocked if he landed. Like they're not my. I'm not saying they're the favorite by any means. I think they're going to come in with the highest offer, and I don't think they have a bad pitch. They have the city, you know what I mean? Like if you didn't grow up watching the Yankees or the Mets, you don't really give a fuck. You just know New York.
I'm pretty sure you grew up watching the Yankees.
I can't imagine he grew up watching like the whole thing about why people didn't think Ohtani was going to come to the East Coast is because it's impossible for people in Japan to watch East
Fair,
Coast baseball.
fair, fair, fair,
I'm sure
but
he did not watch the Yankees.
fair. Because I mean, listen, would the Mets signing Yamamoto be the most shocking thing on earth? No. To me, it's just you got the Yankees involved, you got the Dodgers involved, you got the Mets involved. The Mets talking point here is money. And listen, we all love money. Understood. Like fine. If they offer him $50 million more, yeah, he might go there. I'm not here to argue. I personally don't think between all three of those teams, the Mets' final offer is going to be that much more than both the Yankees and Dodgers. I don't think they'd be in here wasting time if they were going to let Steve Cohen outbid them by $75 million, personally. And if you're not going to do that, the chances of you getting him are minimal to me because, well,
That's
what do
the
you have
Red
to offer?
Sox right now. Yeah, that's what Red Sox are pushing like 150.
Red Sox are like, hey, man, we'll give you 150 and some coupons. How about that? Discuss it.
Brutal.
What happened to a once great franchise? What happened?
I wish I could point to something very specific and be like, that happened, but there's nothing. There's nothing specific. I've seen a couple people recently say since Lucchino's been uninvolved, that's when they've lost like the voice in the front office. Like Lucchino's a snake. I'm not going to ever sit here and say anything positive about Larry Lucchino. So anyone who wants to push that narrative, maybe it's true, won't be coming from me. It just fucking stinks. Like they won in 18 and they were like, 4 is enough. What do you mean? Like what are you talking about? The fucking nobody like the last place finishes between 07 and well, I guess 07 and 18. They came in last in 12. They won in 13. You win in 13, 14's not that bad. You know what I mean? It sucks because you just won. Before it's much more palatable. Back to back with no like plan is where it's just like, oh, well, we don't have to live like this. Like we don't have to do it this way. This is such a stupid, that's my biggest problem with it. It's such a stupid fucking way to go about things.
I hope that they keep doing it. I'm a big fan. Like I just wish they didn't give us Alex Verdugo, but that's another topic for another day.
That was your
I'm a big
guys.
fan.
You guys had him circled on the fucking calendar.
Brother. Don't we're the off season is going too positively for us for me to dwell on such negativity. But yeah, I don't understand why they had him circled and fucking they had an asterisk next to his name for like fucking 5 months. Why I will never know. Never get it. And the guy's a fine player. I'm not here to, he ain't my cup of tea, but he ain't bad. Fine. He's your garden variety average to above average outfielder. A lot of players exactly like Alex Verdugo move every offseason. Why the fuck was he starting? And you had to trade with the Red Sox to get this done too. On top of it, it's not even like he was a free agent where it's like, all right, whatever. You give him the 3 for 30 or whatever and get it over with. He was on one of your rival teams, and you're like, yeah, we have to go trade for this guy. Insane.
Had to give up Dick Fitz to get him. A move that will.
Dick Fitz is such an insane name. He's the only Red Sox player I will ever root for to succeed, simply because his name is Dick Fitz.
He's going to, so
I hope he does. I hope he does. It makes for good content. Dick Fitz being a good pitcher is
unbelievable.
And Dick Fitz being a pitcher name is also unbelievable.
It really is.
It wouldn't have worked as well if he was a third baseman.
But we brought up Hoskins. It's so, I fucking bold take coming. I really hate COVID. Seeing a guy with 41 games in the middle and it not being injury related is so stupid.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But his career started in 2018. Like he is not some old man who
No, he's
should be
like
getting
29, ain't
played.
he?
Yeah. No, he's 30 is because last season was 22.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure. Yeah, March. So he turns 31 in March. So this is his age 31 season. He was averaging his per 162. We're talking about 34 home runs, 94 RBI, 37 doubles. He's sneaking 2 triples in there somehow. And you're talking about 123 OPS plus 833 OPS. Like what isn't there to like? His speed was not he tore his ACL. He's fine. He's going to be okay. Aaron Rodgers playing cornerback now.
His speed was never a fucking calling card either. So,
or his defense, like he's a first baseman. Like
right, like nobody has ever paid Rhys Hoskins to run or field. Like nobody's ever paid him to do that. Like there's no reason to. He's not there for that. He's there to get on base and mash. So, and he's done that very fucking well throughout his career. So,
if the rest of the Red Sox, if the Red Sox offseason is Tyler O'Neill, Rhys Hoskins, Jordan Montgomery, Shota Imanaga, I'm not throwing them. That's not full throttle at all. But that is a solid offseason, and it's trending in a right direction. I am not confident they'll land 2 of those people.
I feel like Tyler O'Neill's just being tossed aside in a way that like he was 8th in the MVP voting like 2 years ago.
I'm pretty sure that was 2020.
Whatever.
Pretty sure.
Whatever. Point remains.
Year with 14 games. Yeah.
Hey, he played well in them, didn't he? He was an MVP candidate.
It was 21. Listen, apologies. His first Gold Glove was in 2020. He came in 8th in MVP in 21. So it was a real season. That's fair.
That's a marquee kind of player.
Listen, I said I didn't have faith landing 2 of those guys. They already have 1 of them. So that tells you where my faith is. I think they'll get 1 of Montgomery or Imanaga because I think. So do you think if the Yankees don't get Yamamoto, is Montgomery an option for them or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think he is. I don't think Brian Cashman plays the ego games as much as other people seem to think he does, because we don't really have a lot of examples out of that. Like, unless you want to talk about prospect hugging, and everybody does that to a degree.
Sure.
But it would take a bit of admitting that the trade was a mistake. Maybe we would take that. So would he? I don't know. And personally, I feel like there's a lot of revising history done with that trade, to be honest. And I'm not a Harrison Bader guy like that, but at the time, he was an elite defensive center fielder and an average hitter. The Yankees needed outfielders. Montgomery was their 4th best star at that time. Obviously didn't age well. I understand that. But nobody gave a fuck about Jordan Montgomery while he was on the team. The minute he leaves, now all of a sudden he's Sandy Koufax. Relax. He was a fine pitcher. Like, relax. The minute he leaves, he goes to the fucking Cardinals. He pitches well for half a year. Now he's Sandy Koufax. Like, the math is not math in here. But yeah, no, he's definitely an option. I don't think similar to y'all, I don't think Blake Snell fits what the plan is here, pitching wise, because same reasons. So yeah, I could see Montgomery being the guy. I personally, that's a sign that would get a shrug from me too. Not because he doesn't make the team better, he does. I hate watching him pitch because it's Blake Snell with worse stuff. The same shit, like nibble. He got better at it when he left, conveniently.
Yeah.
To be fair, but he's still a nibble because he's not going to overpower you, which is cool. That's what works for him. It's just an eyesore to watch.
Well, he changed his slider when he got to St. Louis or Texas. I can't remember. It couldn't have been Texas because that would have been too soon. But he just changed like the path it took, which is insane for the age he is to be
Right,
completely
because he's like, what,
changing.
28, 29, something like that?
He's got to be 30
Yeah,
now.
he might be
I
30.
feel like there's no free agents that are. That's why Yamamoto's so exciting.
Exactly. That's why Yamamoto's going to get bank. Yeah, because he's fucking
Yeah,
20.
it's his fucking birthday next month or next week.
Yeah,
It's the 27th, so he turns 31 next week.
right.
Uh, the report is that his agent's looking for the Rodon deal, and when you think about it, like Rodon's better, but it's at an inconsistency. Montgomery has the consistency, so it's not a
And
perfect one-to-one.
Montgomery's durable, and Carlos just
Right,
is not. So
right, yeah. That's where I can kind of see their argument for that, and I don't think that's like a. If you're a team that makes money like the fucking Red Sox do, and you have Chris Sale's contract coming up the books next year, you should not be blinking at adding a middle of the rotation $30 million guy. You did it with Rick Porcello. You did the exact same thing. You traded for him. You gave him at the time top
yeah, the
line starter.
worst Cy Young winner of all time, Rick Porcello, the worst.
Right.
The
And it's
worst.
just like, but they paid him to be that Cy Young winner. Whether or not he earned it's not the conversation I'm trying to have. What they paid him the day they acquired him or the week they acquired him, before he pitched a game for the Red Sox, they extended him the same contract they gave John Lackey as a free agent. So that's where it's like, all right, we expect you to be a frontline starter. He wasn't that. He was a middle of the rotation guy. Wasn't bad by any stretch. Definitely wasn't bad. Wasn't an ace, even with the Cy Young. Just wasn't an ace.
I think the Red Sox should just go with what they're currently doing. Personally,
Nothing.
My opinion. That's my opinion. I think they should just go with what they're currently doing. You know, slow and steady wins the race, or whatever the fuck that phrase is. And that's what I think they should do. Like, just Montgomery is going to get paid $130 million or whatever. You could get two different number 5 starters for like $20 million combined, and make it up that way. Do that. I don't know who the fuck they'd be, but do that instead, I think.
They're not even available. Like, they're all in the Royals now because the Royals keep signing all of those people.
The funniest outcome is if the Royals win that sorry ass division. That's the funniest outcome here. The funniest outcome.
The funniest outcome is if they signed Yamamoto. That would be unbelievable. That guy Yamamoto just loves barbecue. He's like, this shit.
Can you imagine
just
you get the notification after all this hand wringing for whatever, a week, 2 weeks, however long it's been? Yeah, Yoshi Yamamoto signed with the Kansas City Royals. 15 years, $280 million. It would be the funniest shit ever if that happened. Couldn't even be mad at it. I'd just laugh.
Just a big Mahomes guy. He just needs to watch him up close.
He loves Mahomes. He loves Bobby Witt, and he loves a barbecue. So, yeah, besides the KC.
That was the last interesting thing because, again, there's been no interesting things. Before the Michael Wacha signing, apparently the Royals and Marlins, yes, Florida Marlins, Miami Marlins, were engaged in talks that were going to send Vinny Pasquantino.
I love Vinny.
To Miami for Jesus Luzardo. And they just signed Wacha instead. I don't know why the two M teams, the two Fish M teams, the Marlins and the Mariners, are itching to trade some of their young, controllable starters. The Red Sox need to be talking to these teams hourly. Like, hourly.
Are you coming off Casas?
It shouldn't. Casas is so much better than Vinny P. It's not even a 1-to-1 to me. Like, substantially better. He's much better.
I don't know about much better.
He's much better.
I mean, he's proven more, so I can't argue it.
At every level, that's where I think he's much better.
Fair.
He's proven more at every level.
That's fair.
You know what? You know why Vinny P wasn't on Team USA? Because Casas was there, so we had to go play for Team Italy. Okay. Well, Italy doesn't even have baseball. Like, that was such a fake fucking game.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
So that's where it's like, I don't think we'd have to trade Casas. I do think you could put Durant on the table.
Because Casas was the rumor last year, right?
No, because
no? I feel like I heard that one.
So this is also why I hate firing GMs, and it sucks because Kim Ng also stepped away from the Marlins. Like we saw with the Red Sox and Yankees with the Verdugo trade, a lot of this shit happens
Oh yeah, for sure.
long before it comes to fruition. We were engaged with the Marlins at the deadline. I believe it was for Cabrera. We were going to send them Justin Turner. I have no idea why the fuck they were going to do that at all.
What?
Uh, but we like Justin Turner here. He was rubbing off positively. He was the only real positive for the team last year, outside of Casas and some of the and Bayo and some of the other young guys. So it didn't happen. But that's the type of thing where it's like, okay, you have a pitcher. We still have other play, even if it's not Justin Turner. We have other options here. Now I'm not going to be like you're going to have Bobby Dahlbeck. Of course, no one wants that. Like I understand that. But I do think it could be like, all right, here's Rafaela, who's controllable. You can get Jazz out of center field. You can put him there. You can have both of them in the outfield if you really want to get, or you could put Rafael at second. It's short. You can do a lot there. That's where
Oh,
it's like,
you'd be a moron to put him at second. But yeah, I get the point.
sure. I'm just saying you can put him
Yeah, I get the point.
literally
You can
wherever
put
the
him
fuck
wherever
you
you want.
wanted
Yeah,
to.
right.
And it's controllable. He has all of his years left. You know what I mean? They will
Yes,
be
you will.
paying him minimum wage for the foreseeable future until they then turn around and trade him in 4 years. Like
Right.
those kind of things. And I know it wouldn't be a 1-for-1, but if Luzardo's available, I don't know why the A's traded him. I don't know why the Marlins are thinking about trading him. He seems pretty fucking good to me.
Counterpoint: Luzardo is good, understandable. Not. He also has issues with strike throwing.
Sure. I think he's
So
still, what is he, 26?
yes, he is.
That's where it's like, I feel like that's a guy you can
You
work
can
with.
mold for sure. You can mold
Yeah.
him for sure. But like he's had these issues going back to minors. I don't know if there's ever been a guy where like, all right, minors couldn't really throw strikes, majors couldn't really throw strikes, and then he just became a strike thrower. He could obviously succeed with
Right.
or without it, but I don't know if they would look at him and be like, yeah, that's the guy we want to get. And it's
I
funny
think
because
it's
you brought up
also,
Edward Cabrera, but I know that was last year. But I could have imagine if you called him now, like, hey man, here's Edward Cabrera. They would just be like, excuse me, no sir, not me.
but all it tells me is they're looking to move excess for offense. The Red Sox, even if it's not going to cost Meyer or Anthony, but like, and Nick York gets thrown into all of these, but there are players, guys who are on at least on the cusp that makes sense. And Mariners, I have no idea what the fuck the Mariners want. The Mariners don't know what the Mariners want.
Yeah, no clue.
There was one report that came out that they rebuffed the Red Sox call. It wasn't even like player. They rebuffed the Red Sox, which really only tells me they're kind of waiting for some of these free agents because then obviously the prices will go up on trades. That's where the stalemate really fucking stinks. It's just like,
it's stopping all the action.
Everything has to happen for anything.
Stopping all the fucking action, dude.
And this is also where I think I would dominate in this role because it's like I'm just going to overpay. You could take it or leave it. I'm going to move to someone else. You're not the only person with pitchers, but I will.
There are people that are just way too concerned with being fucking rational. What was the Friedman quote? Like, if you're rational every free agent, you're going to sign none of them. Like, that's just how it goes. Like, you're going to sign none of them if you're rational about everybody. You're going to have to, you are going to have to make deals that you are slightly uncomfortable with at that time for whatever the reasons. Whether it's the deal's too long, you had to pay too much, you got used by somebody else again, whatever it is, you're going to be uncomfortable. And like I saw Steve Phillips. No disrespect to Steve Phillips. Well, you know what? I'm going to disrespect him. So I'm not even going to start with. I'm not going to start with a lie. Every time somebody like Steve Phillips speaks, it becomes obvious why he's a former GM. But he's talking about, oh well, you know, I wouldn't give him 9-10 years. You know, what about the back end, bro? Nobody's paying a fucking 10-year contract worried about year 9. No, nobody's doing that. You're worried about the peak years, the top years. You hope that the top years 1 through whatever 4 or 5, whatever number you want to stop it at, are great, and then the middle years you just hope he consistently is good. The back end you just pray it's not tragic. That's legitimately what a contract is like. You're not paying for Yamamoto's age 34 season. Granted, I mean 34 is not that old. He could still be great by that point. Like, it's not that old.
That example, and he compared it to a worse example, which was Scherzer's contract. Maybe the best long-term contract of all time. Like, to compare it to what the Nationals gave Max Scherzer is beyond stupid. And obviously, Steve Phillips has done great things in baseball. But that was like such a bad, like maybe the worst comparison I've ever heard.
Like Max Scherzer signed, I want to say it was like an 8-year deal in Washington, if I'm not mistaken, right? And
8.
The Nationals got everything you could possibly ask for, and then got a great return out of him when they traded
Right.
him.
Right.
So like it could end up like Max Scherzer. What are you talking about today, Max Scherzer? That has nothing to do with the Nationals. Nationals traded him
Even
like 3 years ago.
Mets, they're paying him. They got Louis Angel, Acuna. I, I don't know if they're upset about that deal. The Rangers won a World Series. He didn't fucking help a ton, but
The
they
Mets the
won a
Mets
World
took the
Series.
Mets took a shot. It whiffed, I guess, if you want to call it that, because he had one really good year and then one,
Sure.
and then they traded him. They whiffed. Okay, cool. And then it's a 3 year deal, not a 10 year deal. Like they'll be fine, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. And if you want to talk about like the 10-year deals, the owners did this. This is their
Yep.
fault. This is 1000%
Mhm.
their fault. If you got rid of the AAV shit, you wouldn't see as many 10-year deals. Guys would just get Yamamoto, his number would be the same. It would just be over a shorter amount of years because the AAV wouldn't matter. So if they want to get rid of the wage suppression rules that they have in place, you
Right.
won't
Then we
get
wouldn't
burned
care
on
about
these
this
long
shit.
deals.
Right. Like Garrett Cole signed for 9 years. Don't nobody care about what Garrett Cole does at age 38. Why would I care about that? We care about what he's doing now.
Right. If that guy sucks year 1 and 2, terrible deal. Doesn't matter how long it is. Like it
Right.
genuinely. Corey Kluber was one of the worst pitchers in Red Sox history. It was a 1 year, $10 million deal. No one gives a fuck about the amount of money you paid him. He just sucked at baseball.
Right.
Like it is what it is.
That's
Like he
it.
was
Right.
old. It didn't work. Like it had. Like obviously he won Cy Young. He's probably going to walk into the Hall of Fame. Good for him. He was bad on the Red Sox. Like it happens. It fucking happens. No one
Yes, it
cares
was.
how long or short the contract was. That's irrelevant. If you're great, like I saw, it was the anniversary of Manny Ramirez signing with the Red Sox. I think yesterday. He was there from 01 to they got traded in 09 or no 08, in the middle of 08. It ended about as poorly as it can, and there were hiccups along the way. Comfortably, the best big contract deal I've seen the Red Sox give out. Comfortably.
Yeah.
I don't respect the cowardice at all from everyone, not even just the Red Sox, because it's everywhere.
And it's like the thing is, in a vacuum, I understand the idea of in baseball where one player affects the sport less than the other sports. I understand if you're telling me that you just based on how the sport is built, you're not trying to give somebody 10 years for $350 million. I understand that. I don't agree with it. I think it's cowardice too. But at least you could say that and you could back it up with points that make sense. And I'm not going to argue with you. Once you just, I don't know about the back end of this. I'm not giving him. I'm out at 10 years. He's 20 fucking 5. If you're not going to give him a long term deal, who the fuck are you going to pay then? Really, who are you going to pay? He's
Right.
25. Like if he was 30 and you're like, I'm not giving him 10 years. Yeah, duh. Like that makes sense. Understood. I wouldn't care personally. But because I'm not paying for his age fucking 39 season. Like
Right.
if he stinks at age 39, he's supposed to. Nobody cares.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. It's cowardice. It just bothers me to no end. Like I don't understand. It like every time Bill James is like, you can put 9 trash cans out there, it's the same thing as 9 human beings. It's like that's watching teams actually act like that is like what's the evidence? Like the tangible evidence. Don't show me the computer screen. What's like the Rangers went out and just signed everyone, and they're like,
Sure
"Here's a
did.
World Series." You know what
Sure
I mean?
did.
Like that. I've seen that more often than I've seen anything else. I saw the Yankees stack World Series. Now they drafted and developed. What was it? 4 guys?
Yeah, it was
Like
Bernie,
core four. Yeah.
Posada, Jeter, Pettit, Mo, etc. Yeah.
The rest of the team was big money free agents. George was doing that every offseason. I think there's a balance. Like I think you've got 25 roster spots to fill. 5 of those guys should be making like GDPs of medium-sized countries. You know what I mean? Like 5 of those guys should be making absurd amount of money.
Right.
5 of those guys should be 1-year veterans, like a Justin Turner, like what JD Martinez is probably going to get. 1 year, 15 million, 1 year, 10 million, those kind of guys. And then that other 15, at least 5 of them are middle relievers. They're not making money ever. You know what I mean? Like those guys
Right.
forever live off $2-3 million deals. Like that's not a
That's
chunk
why they
of
play for
change.
like 15 teams. Yeah.
Right. And the 5 of those other guys should be in arbitration. So they're making any range from 550,000 to, if they win an MVP and they're in that other 5, you've got a great problem on your hands. Like, that's not something you
Right.
should be like furious about. It seems easy to me. And then those other 5 guys, they're either rookies, guys
Bench
who are coming up through the
players.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, they should be making 5 million or less. All of them. Like, that's just, it doesn't seem that hard to have that kind of balance. People preaching about like this impossible balance are insane to me. And when you look at what the Braves do, obviously it's to an extreme level, but if you truly believe in your young guys, lock them up. You're saving yourself money long term. It gives you more flexibility. The Braves don't even use their flexibility, but they have it.
It's really funny to me that they don't. It's so funny to me that they're just like, bro, we got this entire, we got like 8 all-stars making like $30 million combined. You ain't getting shit else. Like we gave you all that we could give you. We ain't giving you nothing else.
They paid Olsen like a real person.
And Riley.
Sean Murphy, they didn't.
And Riley. They paid Riley and they paid Olsen. Everybody else they robbed. They robbed everybody else, dog. Like Harris is making like $8 million a year, which okay, I understand. Like he decided to take the upfront money. Da 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 da. All right, yeah, cool. He getting paid $1 million. He's gonna be a stud. They got Albies making minimum fucking wage. Acuna is way underpaid. Like they robbed everybody there.
Acuna got 10 for 100, right?
I think it was 8. Hell, it might be 10 because they love to give 2 team options on the back end of fucking contract. So it might be 10.
I'm looking at Murphy's deal right now. It ends with a team option. Like, it's just
every time, dog. And what was Murphy's deal?
It was, looks like 4 for 60, 15, 15. Yeah, it's 15 flat starting in 25. And I know it was an extension.
That's actually very fair for the Braves. It's actually very fair for them. Like,
so it's 4 for 60. It can be 5 for 75 if with that team option.
And then the team
age 34 a season.
Yeah, they're not exercising that damn team option, bro. They're not bringing him back. But yeah, and they got Albies for 7 for 35 with 2 team options. That shit is criminal. Put AA in jail, dog. Get him out of here. It's criminal.
Someone recently said that they needed to restructure that. It might have been Ortiz. Someone was like, "Come on, what are we doing here?"
It's legitimately criminal. And the thing is, like, it was criminal at the time it was signed. At least if Ozzy had signed that while he was in the minors,
sure.
Like, I can't really argue with you, brother. He signed that shit after he had like 2 4-war seasons. What are we? That contract pisses me off far more than it should. That shit really fucking angers me. The team options part is the most offensive part.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, if it was just a regular 7 for 35, like, that's insane. Sure, but okay. It's like, yo, y'all already won the game. Y'all won. Why do you want to beat me up after the game too? Like, that's what that contract is. You won the game. You won it by 40 points. Now you want to fight us in the parking lot. You won. You won. Well, when you want to win the fight too. You won the game. You beat our ass. Go home. Team, it's insane.
What's the next move we get? We'll end on this. Your prediction. What's the next big move? Because I like Lee, big enough move. I'm not trying to say it wasn't. And I saw some Yankee fans specifically shitting on that deal. If he had signed that exact deal with the Yankees, I'd be hearing about how he's going to reinvent defensive center field. I don't want to fucking hear Yankee fans telling the Giants they overpaid. The Giants need to overpay for somebody. I don't care if he fucking sucks. I'm happy for the Giants.
Right.
I wouldn't be shocked if they got Snell when it's all said and done. I wouldn't be shocked if they.
That actually makes perfect sense for both of them.
But who do you think, if Yamamoto is the next deal and it might not come until January 4th? We've got 2 more shows before then.
I can't do it. I need him to sign like today. Shit, I can't do it. The next big signing,
or trade.
I'm just gonna guess Yamamoto because that just makes the most sense. We're holding the whole fucking thing up for him, so it makes sense that he's the next one. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a big trade, but I don't know who that would be, what that would entail, or who that would be at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we get a trade larger than Soto. And I saw one of the Yeah, I mean, there are a few players even larger than Soto as is, so it would be quite surprising indeed. Um, one of the CBS guys, I can't remember which one, my apologies, was like, it's insane. We all agreed Soto was generational, like immediately. The first time we
Scott
saw
White.
him, Scott White, yeah.
Yeah.
Saw him immediately. He was generational. Everyone agreed this is Dominican Ted Williams.
He's been
And
traded
then,
twice in 3 years.
yeah, it's like,
No, twice in 2 years, excuse me.
you
Yeah.
know, these fucking imbecile. Like, there are so many. Anytime we do this in any capacity, and it's like, oh, you think that job's so easy? Yeah, I see the fucking idiots who do these jobs. Like, I know it's easier than they're making it, and I understand those
That's the
backdoor
key.
politics.
That part's the key. Like, I am not sitting here pretending I could do that shit. What I will say, and I'm dead serious, they make that shit way harder than it needs to be. Guess what? And I understand this is not all the GMs. It's not all about the GMs. Owners have to pay. Blah blah. Understood. I have Juan Soto, and my owner is willing to pay for Juan Soto, especially in the case of the Yankees, because I'm assuming they're going to keep him long term. Pay Juan Soto is like the easiest transaction you can make.
So,
Nobody would be upset. This is not one of those, oh, you might get a bad PR hit. He's not old. He's great at his fucking job. Like, the only thing you could pick at is, okay, he provides nothing with defensive base running. And buddy, if that is what you have to go on, then you need to be fired. Plain, you need to be fucking fired. If you're gonna be like, I can't pay him, he can't defend. Neither could David Ortiz. How'd that work out?
David Ortiz was throwing people out in the World Series, picking them off at third, turning double plays.
The sun shines on a dog's ass every now and again. Anyways, David Ortiz couldn't fucking defend. He hit whatever 600 home runs. He seemed to do fine. Okay,
He was good.
he seemed to do quite fine. There are quite a few players. Manny Ramirez was doing all kind of shit in left field and right field, whatever field they had him in. He seemed to do fine. Juan Soto, I don't give a fuck if they play him at first. I don't give a fuck if they DH him. I don't give a fuck if they play him in right. That man's gonna put up a 150 WRC plus by the end of the year. That's what I care about. I don't give a fuck about, oh well, he's slow. Great, wonderful. He jogs around the bases. I don't give a fuck. That's not my problem.
Yeah, you can walk if you hit it over the wall. Like,
Bingo. I don't give a fuck. Oh, he's slow. He doesn't provide anything with base running. I don't give a. We got Anthony Volpe for that.
I'll take it way farther than you. I would be unbelievable at that job. Like, there's no doubt in my mind I would dominate that job. It's so much easier than they're making it out to be.
I will be more humble, but it is definitely easier than they make it, because some of these decisions is like, it's self-inflicted stuff. Some of these that ail yours is self-inflicted.
I love Heim. I'm very on the record of saying he got fucked.
Right.
Where he fucked himself was, I said to his internet face, we were talking through these very cameras you and I are talking to, and I told him to draft James Wood. The entire course of baseball history would have changed if he just fucking listened to me. James Wood was available with our second pick. We took Marcelo Meyer in the first. He was available with the second pick. I understand that's not exactly how the draft works. However, they took Judd Fabian, who didn't even fucking sign. He didn't even sign with the Red Sox. So if the same thing had happened with James Wood and he had gone to, I believe he was committed to Ole Miss. If he had just gone to Ole Miss, who knows where Juan Soto is? He probably just stays with the Nationals for a couple more years and then goes to the Yankees, because that's all they cared about was James Wood. All they wanted was James Wood. Now, they got Mackenzie Gore, CJ Abrams. They got other good players too, but they were very clearly horny for James Wood.
They were so horny for James Wood.
Much like I was when he was at IMG.
Everybody calls them. They were like, Yankees call like, hey man, what's it gonna take for Juan? Like, do you have James Wood? No. Then we can't have a conversation. Like, do you have James Wood? No. There's no conversation to be had then. Sorry. See you next year, I guess.
That's where he fucked up. And again, that's where it's not that hard. You see the 6'7" kid at IMG hitting 700-foot home runs, you take him. Done.
James Wood getting to round two is, now that we talk about this, because I don't really follow the baseball draft like that. Like, I follow it a little bit, but somebody with those kind of athletic gifts being a round two pick is something. And the thing is, if you look at baseball history and you just look at draft after draft, some of the processes make no sense. And it's not even like in hindsight. It's just like, But why would you do that? Like why would you take this insert schmo pitcher here who throws 90 miles an hour over James Wood? 'Cause I'm sure you can find one if you go back and look at that draft. I'm sure you can find somebody who's just like, okay, he's a decent number 4 type of starter. You can find it. Like the 6'8" guy who hits tanks. Just take him. Take him. It can't be this hard.
So, I mean, we took Marcelo Meyer fourth, which is where I told Heim to take James Wood, because I didn't, like, for everything you just said, I didn't think he'd be available in the second round.
Right.
Colton Cowser went fifth. Jordan Lawler went sixth. Kumar Rocker went 10th. Kumar Rocker did not sign with the Mets. Sal Frelick went 15. Khalil Watson went 16. Trey Sweeney went 20 to the Yankees. Yuck. Recently traded.
Yuck. For a buck of the baseballs too, mind you.
Yeah, that was strange. And then I'm just trying to look for other names people will know. Judd Fabian went 40th to the Red Sox, did not sign. Jaden Hill went 44th. People remember him. He was a football and baseball player at LSU. He got drafted by the Rockies. God bless. And then you look at some of these names, like Spencer Schwellenbach. The Braves just traded him, right?
I don't know. Did they?
I thought they did. I remember his name coming up recently.
He's an arm, right?
No, yeah, he's a pitcher.
I don't know.
I thought that's what trade did the Braves make this offseason?
They made like 3 of them, did they? I feel like they made like 3 of them. Yeah, they traded for Matt Carpenter. That was one of the trades.
Oh, they just waived him immediately. That was
right. And they traded. Oh yeah, they traded for Kelnick. That trade.
Yeah, was he in that?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
Let's see. Jared Kelnick trade. No, I don't care about the Mariners trading for him. That. All right, Braves agree to trade. Okay, so he did not get moved in the Seattle trade.
Okay, so then maybe his name was just floated and didn't happen. Yeah. But James Wood goes 62. And I believe
fucking 62nd, bro. So not he going around till he went at the end of it?
Correct. He was damn near a competitive balance pick. And Kyle Manzardo, the first baseman for the Rays, went right after. And he's another guy who just socks dingers, no?
Yeah, he is. And he gets on base. like he socks dingers, gets on base. That's what he does. Yep.
So I understand the baseball draft. It's not the NBA. It's not the NFL. Like, I get it has its own quirks to it. For sure. I get you have money that has to be factored in too. There needs to be that chess move where it's like, hey, if you don't sign, we still get this pick next year, which seems hugely beneficial, especially if you're going to go after qualifying offer guys, but that's neither here nor there. The worst thing that happens is we don't sign him and he goes to college. It's not like the next team can try to sign him. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't get released to free agency. He goes to college. Now he's stuck for 3 years. That seems like a pretty good chess move to me.
True. And sometimes it's really, when it comes down to picking these players, man, like it does not have to be this hard. You see a guy with that kind of talent, with that kind of natural physical talent, you just take them. And I understand. Listen, you take a 6'6" dude. There's gonna be some swing and miss there. Some people can't tolerate it. I don't know why we're still talking about this. It's fucking 2023, but some people can't tolerate the swing and miss. And it's like, brother, have you seen James Wood hit a baseball? Am I saying that man's gonna be great? I have no fucking idea. Am I willing to make that bet every single time, especially 60 fucking 2 picks into the draft? Yes, bro. Yes. I'm fairly certain I could go in there right now and there's going to be like 15 dudes I've never fucking heard of that went ahead of him. And there's going to be like number 4 projectable starters who went ahead of him and relievers who went ahead of him. It's like, what are we doing? 6'7" guy that hits tanks and runs fast. What's the problem? It should be simple.
Like, I get your scouting, especially high schoolers, traits, barrel rate. Like, you're not going to convince me he didn't have. And I went 62nd. There's millions of baseball players. It's not like he was overlooked. I
Right.
understand why a team would take like a Sal Frelick over him. That
For
makes
sure. For
I can
sure.
rationalize that. I'm not saying he should have went 4 where I told Heim to take him. Once he's there again, that
Right.
second time around,
Right.
you got to take that
Like
guy.
if you don't
If
want to
you're
take him in the
wrong,
top 5, okay, bro. I get that. I could, but like he makes it to your pick in round 2. I don't know how to. I don't. Baseball drafts. I don't. It doesn't strike me like there's a big difference between round 1 and round 2 talents. Like I feel like there's a lot of moving parts
sure.
going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. But brother, you're on the board at pick 40 or whatever the fuck it is. 6'8", fast, power. What's hard about this?
What kills me specifically about the Red Sox, we'd just done this the year before. We'd literally done this perfectly, where we took um, Blaze Jordan, the exact same scenario.
Right.
Like, he was projected to be a first round guy. We took Nick York, where people were like shocked, and then 2 rounds later, we take him, we pay him first round money, and he's just raked the whole time. He's been in the minor league system. It's like the fact that we had done something similar truly the year before, and then was just like, let's try to take Judd Fabian, and whose whole family hates the Red Sox organization now for even drafting him. And it's just like, what was the plan there?
It was so funny. Well, also taking Trey Sweeney over James Wood is something I did not know happened, and now I'm upset. So there's that.
Oh, if unless you guys didn't have a second round pick, I already exited out of the page and don't care that much. You may have passed on him twice.
And the Yankees employed Aaron Judge. But anywho, keep on.
Right. Yeah. The guy who most compares to, it's like, oh, what if this guy were a lefty? Pass. All set.
Right. And Wood is faster than him too, if I'm not mistaken. So
Much.
it's like he's considerably faster. So what would it be like if this guy was left-handed and fast and we could get him in our system? Nah, no thanks.
It's not like he wasn't playing in some backwood like Mississippi, like Blaze Jordan. He wasn't playing at some place where nobody saw him. He was playing at IMG Academy, which for all intents and purposes is a college. Like, he was known. Right. He was a no, and he had a bad senior season. I understand that. The talent was still there. Roman Anthony. This is what I mean. We did it the year after as well. Roman Anthony was the exact same guy, the exact same profile, just not 6'7".
Right. I need them to trade him, but yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm all set on that.
Please trade him.
Can't be doing stuff like that.
Why not?
Can't be doing it.
Why not? You need to get proven commodities in there.
Roman Anthony's a proven commodity as far as I'm concerned.
How many major league reps has he taken?
Irrelevant.
Really?
Juan Soto used to be in the same exact position.
Can't argue with that. I think that's a Looney Tune point to bring up, but I can't. It's technically true.
All I'm saying is, if Juan Soto's been a prospect before, the other guys could eventually be traded 2 times. Like, that's all I'm trying to say. All I'm trying to say.
Just get it out the way now. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Get trade number 1 out the way then.
No, I can't do it.
Yeah,
can't do it. I don't even know who I would be like, yeah, you could do that.
Dylan Cease.
No.
We just laughing at Dylan Cease. Damn, that's crazy.
I'm more laughing at the White Sox. Like, there's no way they have any idea how to. I think that's the problem. Remember when Trevor Story was hitting free agency and the Rockies didn't even try and trade him?
Yeah.
How I feel about the White Sox. Like, they don't know you can trade players.
Oh my God. And also, like, while we're at it, I'll circle back to the prediction. Dylan Cease gets traded. That'll be the prediction. When he gets traded for 50 cents on the dollar, we all laugh at the White Sox because, well, the White Sox are the Rockies of the AL. Same shit. The Rockies of the AL. Same shit.
That's hurtful. I'm going to say Montgomery signs on his birthday. I think that deal's already agreed to, and he wants to announce it on the 27th. That's my take.
That would be adorable if he did that.
It would be quite cute.
It'd be quite cute. He
But
signs with somebody not named the Red Sox. Cute.
that also won't be. Yeah, it would be the next time we record, so that would be nice because it means we'd have something to fucking talk about. I have no other concerts.
When's his birthday?
The 27th.
Copy.
So literally a week.
Please, somebody give us something, man. Please.
I'm double checking because now if that's wrong, I don't even know what to do with myself.
I'm fucking starving. Please, somebody give us something. I'm starving.
Yeah. December 27th, 1992.
I'm starving. So, yeah. Give us something, dog.
We got a week for Jordan Montgomery to sign with probably like the fucking Cubs or something stupid. Can't wait. Merry Christmas.